After braving both heaven and hell, the Straw Hats finally reached Fishman Island. Hell was having to run away from a 47-year-old baby, a volcanic eruption, and even a crew of clowns. But after all that suffering, they're about to enter the mermaid paradise, with many spicy scenes. Out at sea, the Straw Hats were searching for the Three Stooges who managed to get lost. To make things worse, the Sunny's headlights were basically useless, like phone flashlights that barely light up anything. A giant jellyfish appeared above the Sunny, and Panettone Chopper thought it wanted to be his friend. But Robin shouted at him not to touch it because it might be poisonous. Then an even bigger fish showed up to eat the jellyfish, and the ship too, just for laughs. But Frankie saved everyone with a galactic fart at the last second. 2 seconds later though, the fish went belly up because the jellyfish's poison took it out. Everyone was already freaking out because the deep sea is full of freaky monsters. Brooke explained that the creatures are blind, and that sneaky Usopp started taunting them, daring them to come get some. But Robin reminded them that some of these monsters actually can see, and a thunderbolt hit them to teach them a lesson. Brooke found a rope on the deck and asked if anyone had seen that pirate anywhere. They all thought Caribou had fallen off the ship during the descent since his hands were tied, so he couldn't grab onto anything. But Brooke showed them the rope and revealed that Caribou had freed himself, meaning the scumbag was still hiding somewhere on the ship. And he had plans, saying he was going to invade the girls' quarters to get his revenge. By the way, if you don't want that trash showing up under your bed at midnight, smash the like button. Word on the sea is, he's scared of likes. Caribou couldn't believe his luck. With the three powerhouses who took down the Kraken missing, he figured it was the perfect time to run wild on the ship. He was desperate to take Luffy's head to the surface, so everyone would know he was the one who took him down. But hey, taking the heads of his crew would get him the same recognition. He was scheming like a mastermind, thinking he was super hidden. But Frankie was right there, sniffing his neck like a creep, and almost passed out from the stench of pure dumpster juice. Frankie stuffed the creep in a barrel, tying him up with ropes, nails, duct tape, super glue, and anything else he could get his hands on. Frankie told him if he wasn't so dumb, the crew might have been in serious trouble. Turns out Caribou was just pretending to be tied up the whole time. Since he's a Logia type with a mud fruit, he could just melt into sludge and slip free. But joke's on him, he's locked up for real now. Suddenly, everyone started feeling dizzy because it was getting hot down there. Smoke filled the area, blocking their view. Nami explained that they were in a volcanic zone, meaning an eruption could go off at any moment and they'd be dust. To make things worse, some freaky monster started trapping them even deeper. Frankie had to pull out the galactic fart again to escape faceless crabs, Thais Carla-sized beasts, and the whole cursed ocean floor. Chopper was convinced Luffy, Zoro, and Sanji didn't stand a chance in this hellscape. They kept firing off explosive rounds, but they were running out of air inside the bubble. Suddenly, a mysterious light appeared, and they thought they'd finally reached Fishman Island. Frankie started sending Morse code through his nipples, asking who was there. But instead of a friendly welcome, a giant glowing piranha showed up ready to snack on them like peanuts. Frankie pulled another galactic fart to dodge it, but then, boom, a massive freak of nature appeared, ugly as sin. It was Blue Zoe's son. The crew was shaking in their boots as he wound up a punch, but instead of hitting them, he KO'd the piranha and scolded it for eating random ships. He warned the fish that if it kept acting up, Captain Vanderdecken would skin them alive. The crew couldn't believe their eyes. Even Usopp was ready to dip ASAP. Out of nowhere, a ghost ship appeared with a dude shouting Gold D. Rogers' famous line, "Wealth, fame, power. If you want it all, just let me eat you. Meet Captain Vanderdecken." Brooke freaked out when the guy casually mentioned he was already dead. He explained that this ship, the Flying Dutchman, wasn't part of the living world. Hundreds of years ago, during a massive storm, a captain lost his mind and started feeding his entire crew to the sharks. That captain, Vanderdecken, punished by the gods to forever sail the ocean depths as a cursed soul. Decken told his crew to stop munching on the ship if they wanted to snag any treasure. The 47-year-old baby lined up another punch, and Nami screamed at Frankie to fire the explosive cannon again. Bad news, they were out of fuel. Just as they were about to get wrecked, the Kraken showed up with a right hook straight to Blue Zone Jr.'s jaw, Gatling gun style. Punches followed, and Luffy emerged, saying it was time to chill. The crew was hyped, they were alive. Zoro, as usual, threw shade, saying it's their fault they got lost. At least Nami and Robin were still showing respeto, though. Vanderdecken called out his 47-year-old baby to wake up and take revenge. Luffy explained that his and Sanji's bubbles popped, so they had to crash in Zoro's. Once again, Zoro saving the day. Chopper teared up, thinking they were goners. Frankie reassured him, nothing can kill those three. Not only did they survive, but they also tamed the strongest East Sea monster. Now they'd use it to tow the ship like pros. The crew had to be careful though. One wrong move from those massive tentacles and the Sunny would be toast. And if the tentacles are that huge, imagine the rest. Things got worse. An underwater volcano was about to erupt. Not even Kraken Bro could tank that. Everyone panicked, even the almighty Vanderdecken bailed. Nami shouted for Luffy to order the Kraken Kraken to run, but Tsurume was already sprinting like a scaredy cat. The volcano exploded, lava closing in fast. Sanji, meanwhile, was literally dying over Nami's pictures. Nami told the Kraken to jump in off a cliff. The crew thought she was nuts, but of course, Luffy loved the idea. The Kraken took the leap, but an avalanche of rocks came crashing down. Zoro wanted to cut them, but Robin stopped him, 8,000 meters deep, and he'd be crushed by the pressure. God Usopp came through with his Midoriboshi, sprouting seaweed to hold the rocks for a few seconds. They barely escaped, but one rock hit Tsurume, knocking him out cold. The crew had no clue where they'd end up. Suddenly, everything lit up, and somehow, they were still alive. Brook, who doesn't even have eyes, complained about going blind from all the light. Luffy pointed up, and Nami confirmed it. Fishman Island. It was massive. They'd finally made it. But no one was more hyped than Sanji. His lifelong dream of reaching the mermaid paradise was coming true. Usopp warned him he wasn't ready to handle that many mermaids without bleeding out. The second Sanji spotted a few mermaids, he died instantly. After 2 years stuck with three-legged ladies, all he wanted was one beautiful mermaid to give him peace. He resurrected, swearing he'd see a mermaid even if it killed him. Meanwhile, Luffy only cared about what kind of meat they cooked there. Have you ever thought about walking into a restaurant? Deep-fried mermaid tail. Nami told him to stop drooling and order the Kraken to find the entrance. But then a toothy beast showed up, asking why the infamous Kraken was obeying mere humans, and the big guy instantly crapped his pants and bolted out of there. Without a doubt, this is the biggest coward in the whole anime. But honestly, I'd run too if I saw a freaking marine mafia staring me down. They basically opened the gates of a zoo, and the animals were pissed. Luffy, though, was hyped, saying those sea monsters looked awesome, and then he noticed someone riding on them. The guy asked if they were the Straw Hats and said he knew them well. These were the damn pirates who wrecked Arlong's plans. But to be fair, 2 years ago, they also defended Hachi and knocked out one of those scumbag celestial dragons, so he was torn about whether they were enemies or allies. He gave them two options to prove their loyalty: either surrender and become subordinates of the new Fishman pirates, or refuse and have their ship sunk. Nami told Frankie to get ready to run, because Luffy was obviously not going to surrender, but they were 10,000 meters deep, so fighting outside the bubble was impossible. She wanted him to use the last of the fuel to force their way into Fishman Island. It was either that, or becoming food for a gorilla, a lion, or a rhino. The thug asked once more if they would surrender, but Luffy shot back, asking if he was stupid. Of course not. In the next episode, they'll fight those damn Fishman pirates, and Sanji will finally experience the paradise he's been dreaming about with plenty of spicy scenes. Not gonna lie, even I'd want to go to that place. The next episode's title, Mermaid Paradise, arriving at Fishman Island.